Welcome to Cambo. I'm Catherine, one of the gardeners here, it's a frosty afternoon on the 25th of January, and we've had about 3 days of really cold weather now, so the gardens are looking really nice. And the plan today is just to have a look at some of our winter garden areas and look at what you can grow in this kind of garden to make it look good at this time of year. And hopefully that'll give people some ideas as to what you can do at home, or if you can't come to Cambo at the moment because of the lockdown, give you a good chance to see what's happening. Here we are. This is what we call the larches area. We've got these big larch trees up here, and then we call these beds around the side the link garden, because they link the stables with the woodlands and walled garden entrance as well. And the key thing really, I think, with the winter garden is to think about all the different things that are going on at this time of the year. So it might be interesting textured barks or berries or seed heads, lots of colour, and really how to combine those to make them look good at this time of year. So I thought we'd have a look at some of the plants individually. We've got this lovely grove of Betula Utilis jackmontii, which is a variety of white silvery stemmed birch, and these look really fantastic when you plant them in groves like this, and also if you can get hold of the multi-stemmed ones, you get even more of an impact. They do take quite a while to colour up to the white stems, so just give them a few years to get going, and then you've got these lovely winter shadowy effects and the nice little purple pointy buds as well. Good autumn colour as well, and they grow to about 9 metres over time. So another of the really lovely trees that we've got for the winter garden is this twisted or contorted hazel, which is Corylus avellana contorta, and this is a really great one for the winter. It's got these lovely sort of explosions of curly stems, really good for flower arranging or just bringing a bough inside in the winter. I think it doesn't look as good in the spring once the leaves come up, but it's a really excellent one for the winter. You just have to watch about maybe say taking off some of the really tall stems that you sometimes get growing from the base, and that's it, trying to revert to a normal hazel. So that's a good one for shape. And then over here, another lovely shrub. It maybe looks a little bit scrappy, but it kind of makes up for its habit in terms of the scent that you get. So this is the winter honeysuckle, or Lonicera fragrantissima, and this just has an amazing scent for several months in the middle of winter. So that's a really, really lovely thing as well. And then we've got some other, quite a few dogwoods in this area, and they provide a really nice accent. They're great in low winter light. You can see this one here, just the sun patching it. This little one here is called Midwinter Fire. It's got these lovely yellowy orange stems, and then this one at the back I think is Cornus alba, could be a different one. And the management of these, really, you can decide what you want to do. You can either cut them to the ground at the end of the winter, and then you get a nice growth of nice bright stems for next year, or you could do something like take out a third of the older stems each year, and that means you get both nicely coloured bright young stems, and you also might get some of the flowers on the older wood as well. So we do a mixture of that here at Cambo, and they provide a lovely sort of accents as you go down the link. Couple more good shrubs for this kind of border. This is Viburnum bodnintense. This starts flowering a little bit earlier, maybe in December time, and then it keeps going right through January and into February. Lovely pink tubular flowers and really amazing scent. And again, managing that, it's just a case of cutting out some of the older wood each year, and that can grow to be about 3 metres tall. And again, these are lovely. We cut some stems off these back in November time from my garden at home, and we had them in the shop for about a month, just a lovely scent. And then we've got this one over here, which is the Christmas box, or Sarcococca confusa. Quite typical of a winter shrub in that the flowers are really discreet, not very showy, but they make up for that, and they can attract the insects by being really, really scented. So this is the sort of thing you might have in a corner of your garden, and then you just wonder what the scent is, and there it is. There's these amazing little tiny white flowers. And then there's a whole collection of other nice, interesting winter shrubs. We've got hebes with lovely purple tips on the end of the branches. This skimmia, which is called Kew green, lovely glossy leaves and again scented flowers. And then we've also got a nice selection of herbaceous things in here as well, some of them really good. This is the Gladwin iris, or Iris fetidissima. Lovely strappy glossy leaves. Just comb out the dead ones in sort of winter time. And then these amazing orange seed heads that you can just see here with the little orange seeds popping out. So they're again a lovely thing, and those seeds will seed around the place. You can see we've got more of it over there, and we've actually got some of it that's self-seeded into the prairie at the back there. And another one with a very similar name is this hellebore fetidus, Helleborus fetidus, the stinking hellebore. It's not really as bad as the name describes, but it's a slightly kind of earthy smell when you get right into the flowers, but lovely light green, interesting shaped flowers, and a nice compound leaf as well. And it's maybe just worth talking a little bit about the management of this area. It's quite low maintenance. The plants that we've chosen need to be able to grow under a nice, in a nice dry soil under the canopy of these larches. We would maybe every couple of years mulch quite heavily with bark or a composted bark, and then we've got the leaf litter that comes down off the larches. And then really it's just about containing the plants, trying to keep them in their places, because this is one of the areas where we display some of our specialist snowdrops. So you'll see these little labels here. Each one of these is the location of a specialist snowdrop, and we're going to talk about those in a different film. But we just need to be a bit careful that some of these more aggressive plants, so this is an epimedium that's been cut back, which has been making its way towards the specialist snowdrop, so we're just trying to kind of keep that in place. And then we've got things like the Ophiopogon, which we've got the green one, and then there's the black one further up. So apart from that, just weeding, taking the leaves off the hellebores just as they're about to flower. So this one here, stripped off the leaves so that you can see the lovely flowers, another one there. And the same with the epimedium, which at the moment this doesn't look like much. Taken all the leaves off, but in another month or so that will be coming through with lovely little yellow flowers, really delicate little flowers. So now we're in a different bit of the garden, and we've come down the link and we're at what we call the Woodland Winter Garden, and this was designed by Elliot Forsyth, who was one of the previous head gardeners here about 4 or 5 years ago. And Elliot was very interested in naturalistic or habitat-based planting, so the idea here is to use plants that fit well with that woodland habitat, but also to include lots of perennials and grasses, just to make sure that the interest keeps going all year round. So we talked about the dogwoods before in the other garden, and we've got a nice collection here. We've got this dark red stemmed one here, which is Cornus kesselringii, which is a kind of maroony colour. We've got Cornus ruby, we've got in the middle next to Cornus sibirica ruby, that's a quite bright red one, and then we've got more of the midwinter fire that we looked at earlier, which is the orangey reddish one. So again, that looks lovely with the winter light behind it. And we've got this lovely Acer at the back here, which is the coral Acer, and that has beautiful red tips, and that gives you some great autumn colour as well. Another tree in here is the liquid amber. Obviously deciduous, lost all its leaves at the moment, but you've got this really kind of reptile-like bark on the branches. And that has lovely sort of maple-shaped leaves in the autumn as well, with wonderful colour. So we were just talking about the pruning of different dogwoods here, and Charlotte was just remarking on how you've got these lovely red stems and then the little stool at the bottom of more brown wood. And this is one where it's obviously been cut right back down to the base at some point, and then these have grown up, and it's probably getting to the point where it needs similar pruning again this year. So again, you could take it right down, be quite dramatic with it, or you could take out a third of the older stems. Have a look at some of the other plants down here. This is Begonia, or elephant's ears. This has either pink or white flowers, sort of upright stems of flowers, and then in the winter the green leaves often colour up with these lovely rich red tones. Got some nice variegated leaves here. I know Elliot wasn't a great fan of variegated plants, but I think just in here it gives you a nice little accent, just catching the light. And then this is a shrub which is a good one for autumn colour. This is a euonymus alatus, and alatus refers to the wings that you get on the stems here. So you've got these little wings which give it a nice texture. And we've got more epimediums. These will be cut back soon. Again, you can see what I'm saying here. This one probably needs a good cut back because this is one of the specialist snowdrops here, Galatea, and if we're not careful that'll encroach into that, so it's a case of just kind of gently tidying it. Another thing about a winter garden, I suppose, is about kind of careful positioning of plants. So you might want to create a little accent. So this is a rubus coburnianus, and lovely white stems, but it's just carefully positioned on the corner to catch the light, and then you've got the backdrop of this Ophiopogon. I think this is a bit of a marmite plant. People love it or they hate it. It's called, common name is either black mondo grass or lily turf. It's not actually a grass, although it looks like it is in the lily family, and that has the little purple flowers and blackberries afterwards, and that's often very popular with snowdrops as a contrast. And this is another good variegated plant here. Lovely markings on the leaves. This is Arum italicum, sometimes known as cuckoo pint or lords and ladies, and it has after the leaves have gone over, it has the little plumes of little red berries that stand up afterwards once the leaves have disappeared. So we're just keeping on walking around the Woodland winter garden, and just as you walk around here you're hit by the smell of these lovely witch hazels or hamamelis. Just a really lovely thing at this time of year, and have these amazing little yellow spidery flowers, which look like little dangling insects in the sky, and quite a sort of astringent smell. Behind that we've got a different sarcophoca. This one's got longer leaves, and we've got one of our nice tall specialist snowdrops here, Mrs. McNamara. What else we've got here? Lots more epimedium, some ferns, another hamamelis. These rather strange stems here, these are offshoots of the Aralia trees, which you probably can't see in the sunlight there, but they'll probably need a bit of control over time. It's good to have a mix of evergreen and deciduous plants in the garden. Some of these little tiarellas or telemas, they're maybe not evergreen, but we call them wintergreen, in that they keep going green into the winter, and then they'll get a bit of a tidy up when it comes to spring. A couple of other evergreens. This is a Mahonia here, not quite in flower, but again a nice scented yellow flower. And then this is one of the stars of the show here, which is Daphne mesoreum, which you can just about see. It's just starting to come into flower here, and in a week or so's time that will be a really beautifully scented shrub. And another nice one, which is a little bit more unusual maybe, is this Ribes laurifolium, which has quite interesting flowers, and I think also can be grown, I was reading, can be grown quite nicely up a wall as well. So we've done a good little circuit of this nice island here, and this is a sorbaria, which just coming into leaf. You can see the little nice bright reddish ends to the tips of the leaves, and then if we pan round this way, we've got another of these Christmas boxes, the lovely scent on the corner there so that people catch it as they walk past, and another euonymus with the nice winged branches. And then we won't go there just now, but just so you can imagine, if you know Camber, where we are. if Charlotte just pans round, these are the paths that take you down through the woodland to the house, and then onwards down to the den around the burn, and that brings you out to the sea at Kingsbarns Beach. So lastly, I thought we'd just come inside the walled garden just to have a look at another aspect of what looks good in winter, and that's some of our herbaceous plantings, which we leave to stand in the winter so that we can see the seed heads. And you've got these lovely sort of buff colours of all the grasses. And this is the potager area that we're here at the bottom of. This gets planted up with a lot of annuals in the summer, sometimes vegetables, sometimes annual flowers. And we just leave it at this time of year. It's really good for wildlife, lots of seeds, lots of little places where all the ladybirds and other insects can hide. So this is a fennel plant, really statuesque. And then we've got the lovely steeper tenuissima, which is this grass here, which we've got right the way through the borders. And then another very popular plant here, Verbena bonariensis, which has lovely purple flowers, and we've got lots of that in here. So it's just another aspect really of the winter garden here at Cambo, and we'll probably leave this until the end of February, beginning of March, and you can see it stretches right up there through to what we call the contemporary garden or transition garden, which is a transition of plants from sort of meadow planting right through to woodland, and that's one of the last borders that we cut down. Obviously at some point in the year we just have to get on and cut them down because we need to allow space for the new growth to come through, but as much as we can we just let them stand, and so people can enjoy that. So that's really most of the winter gardens that we've got. There's lots more to see, lots more snowdrops, and we hope that you'll be able to come back to Cambo soon.